Hi, I'm Joe, and you're watching GoonerTube. Now, I've got with me today Mario, I've got Andy, and I've got Dawse. And obviously, you know, my name's Joe, and this is GoonerTube, as I mentioned before. And we've just played Wolverhampton Wanderers at home, and we got beat 2-1. And for those of you that don't know, we got beat 2-1. Uh, there's not a lot we can say about this game, apart from the fact that I've ripped down all my shirts and everything in the process of the game. I've now just got a flag and this Highbury Stadium up here because I'm not a believer in the Emirates, to be honest. That's where I spent my youth, as did Andy, and
Yeah.
to an extent, as did Dawes.
The good
Unfortunately,
old days.
Mario's never been, and I'm telling you what, you missed a treat because it would have changed you as a supporter to have been privileged enough to go to that stadium. But there we go. I'm not going to ponder on my youth or Andy's youth because we're both getting on a bit. So all I'm going to talk about is this game. And if you keep watching at the end of this, we're also going to get some predictions as to what we think, how we think the Spurs game is going to go as well. So keep watching towards the end of this. Yeah, Mario's smiling already. I think he knows what he's going to say. So he's been making notes, bless him. So I'm going to come to you, Dogs, first because you had the most out of the three guys there. You out of the three of you, you had the most blank and disappointed expression I think I've ever seen on your face. And I've seen you disappointed in the past, having played football with you and been on the losing side. But that losing side tonight, we have to say that they deserved to lose tonight, didn't they?
It's getting tedious now watching this shite, can I just say. Yet again, we're playing at home. We look like the away team. Teams are just coming to us, attacking us. We just look all over the place. Again, I'm going to call it now. I want Aubameyang dropped.
Okay.
If that was anyone else, if that was Lacazette or anyone, everyone would be calling for his head. So when's he actually going to start turning up? He's been playing down the middle now. He didn't even have a shot. What, a couple of headers tonight? Turn around. Oh, he's been useless. Let's be honest, he's been shit.
Do you think that he's been? Sorry, Andy. Do you think he's been shit for the reasons that I was talking with my dad about this, and I was saying, you know, about supply. But you can only have that argument for so long, can't you, about supply? Because when we look at other great strikers that we've had at this club, would Thierry Henry have been the same tonight? Would he have played the same way, or would he have done something like that tonight? So I'll come to you, Andy, because I know you wanted to come in. What was the difference with Aubameyang? I'm picking up on what Dawes was saying there. I know you wanted to make a point, so please go ahead and make it.
Yeah, I'll make 2 points of my really quickly, Joe. But the first point I want to make to add to Dawes' point, I'm with Dawes on that, to be fair, because I think his body language, Aubameyang's body language was just shite. It was shocking tonight. And I'll tell you what really pees me off about Aubameyang and actually Arteta as well. Why is he captain? What is this thing about giving the best player the captaincy? Don't give the best player the captaincy. Give the one that's the mouthy so-and-so that wants to give direction and give some bloody motivation. He gives nothing. He never shouts at players. He never gives them direction. And then going back to the Henry reference as well, I mean, Henry was a sulky so-and-so sometimes, wasn't he? He had his moments, but he never gave up. How many times you see he drop his shoulders like Aubameyang's done in the last 5 or 6 games?
Thing is, they had better players around them as well. This is
Absolutely.
You've got second-rate players.
Absolutely. Completely agree.
Mario, let's come to you. Sorry, Dawes, carry on. Go on, thing is...
No, I was just going to say, at the end of the day, he's played out on the left, and he still ain't doing nothing while he's on the left. He's going down the middle, he's still doing nothing. At the end of the day, we're the professional players. We've got no one in that midfield who's actually going to pick up the ball and drive at people, which we don't have. So you need, as your captain, you need him to step up, grab the ball and do something. Start dragging the players with him. Because at the end of the day, he's just there, half-hearted headers, putting in weak tackles and just moping around the pitch. At the end of the day, if that was Lacazette, everyone would be calling for his head. And Lacazette's our top goal scorer.
Ironically. I was having a similar conversation with Mario earlier on WhatsApp talking about Pepe, but let's not talk about him for a second. Let's talk about the team that was on the pitch tonight. Now, if you want to go and make a cup of tea, or if you want to go and hoover the house, I'm about to hand the floor to Mario, because I know that he's probably got one or two things to say about our performance tonight. And Mario doesn't usually say what he wants to say in one or two sentences. And he knows it as well. So, Mario, I'm going to hand the floor to you. You just give us your thoughts on tonight's performance, if you want to pick up on where Dawse and Andy left off.
All right. This is definitely a time in where we have to look into the players' quality and take it into perspective, because where we see all the fight was actually from two players, and they were Bukayo Saka and Gabriel. Now, these two players are the players that have the strongest mentality I see so far in the team. One of the biggest factors that I realized in our team today was the midfield. The midfield quality was extremely low. And I can tell you that I realized that not even 3 or 4 passes were exchanged between Dani Ceballos and Granit Xhaka, and that is something that we have to consider. Now, Aubameyang has been really poor, and we play him down the wing, and we complain that he's playing down the wing and we're not supplying him. So we said, okay, put him up front. Now he's up front, and it's the same performance. Now we have to consider what is happening with him mentally. Is it the fact that he was granted something and didn't get it? I'm not sure. But at the end of the day, is that he's been really, really poor. Lacazette has been really, really poor. Willian has been really, really poor. And these are guys are the big guns that as Arsenal fans would say. Now, when you look at a team like Leeds that banged us last week, and now Wolves come and do the same. These players in these teams are actually players where we say they are equal, or maybe our players are a little bit above their level, but yet still their coaches are getting the best out of their players. Now, I'm not an Arteta out fan, but I think this is something that I definitely put on Arteta's shoulder, because he has to look into the fact that his team that he's putting out there are not performing at their optimum best. And if you should consider something like this, where you have one of the best strikers in the world playing up front, but yet still is yet to put a shot on target or any of that sort, getting even 5 shots per game out of a 90-minute match, that is something that you have to consider. You have a quality players up front, but you're not getting anything from them. That means something is wrong with the system, not just the formation. Changing the formation and inputting players certain places doesn't necessarily fix the system, because the system creates a mindset. With that mindset, that means you're going to see the same thing plays over and over again. So, for example, we play a 4-2-3-1 this evening, and what you realize is that they're playing similar as to when we're playing 3-5-2, 3-5-2, or 3-4-3. Constantly realize Dani Ceballos is picking up the ball on the left-hand side or on the right-hand side as a third defender, in which he should be doing, because it's a different change of formation. What is happening now? The players are being deployed in the same similar system, just a change of formation. When you have Dani Ceballos coming to the far right of David Luiz or Olden to pick up the ball, to bring it forward, you're going to see a massive gap inside the midfield. 5 Wolverhampton players in the midfield area surrounding Granit Xhaka alone. Granit Xhaka is not mobile enough to cover that amount of ground or that physical enough to battle with those players. If you consider a player like Thomas Partey, that would be ideal for him, because he relished the physicality in the midfield area and the one-to-one battle. What you realize, many of our players will lost our 1v1s on the pitch today, and that is one of the things that cost us. When you see players moving in behind our defense and getting off one shot off goal, when we have 3 defenders in front of the keeper, but yet the player still scored, that means something is wrong. And I think Mikel Arteta has to shoulder some of this blame.
I can tell you're angry. Mario, he puts Duracell, the strongest possible batteries. He's got a little slot here. He opens them up and puts in, changes it just before he does this, because you have to cut in on Mario, because he talks a lot of sense, but at the same time he does pour his heart out, which is always a good thing, especially after a game like tonight. So Andy, I'll come back to you, mate. What's the sort of the way the system that Mario was talking about, the way the system is failing, and you have to put that onto Arteta's shoulders to a degree. What is he seeing in training, you think, he's not then being able to take onto the pitch?
I don't think the setup is actually that bad, Joe, to be fair. I think it's the players' application. I think the players just either don't give a shit, or just not good enough. Going back to Mario's point about Saka, I don't get the hype about Saka. I just don't get it. I know he's a young lad, he's got to progress, but I just don't see enough good players on that pitch, Joe. And I think Saka, and again, I'm not trying to put the blame on him. He's a young lad, right? But whenever I see him play, even for England recently, he was getting big load of hype for them. I think, what are you seeing that I'm not seeing? I don't see a potential world-class player for Arsenal. Just don't get it. Now, maybe in a bad move after tonight, but I think if you think about the players we've got on the pitch tonight, right, there's probably 3 players that I would say are worth keeping hold of. Now, I know it's not like you're not playing PlayStation football, right? But it's going to take 4 windows to get rid of about 8 players, crap players in that system. It's going to take us 3 or 4 years. And with respect to Arsenal, we ain't a bloody Wolves, are we? Let's be brutally honest. It's bloody ludicrous. There's so many players in that team. He keeps saying, they're good enough. They ain't. None of them are good enough. It's only probably Leno at a touch, maybe Aubameyang when he's on form. Who else you got? Gabriel and Tierney. For me, everyone else can bugger off.
I put Saka in there. Saka is a quality player.
So, I mean, I would, sorry, Barry, I would agree with Mario, and I can see where you're going with it, Andy, but I do agree that Saka is a quality player, and I would keep hold of him. Whether he's a quality player at the moment is debatable. I think he's lacking confidence at the moment, and maybe he's not necessarily being given. Sorry, say again.
Fatigue. He's fatigued. He's been playing lots of minutes.
Maybe he is fatigued. I mean, but
he's only young.
But only young. But then Mario, you've got to say, what is he? 20, 21?
19.
19. Okay, so listen, what was you like at 19? You wanted to play. The next day you wanted to play. The next day you wanted to play.
Absolutely.
He's a top class racehorse that's being looked after by the cream of the crop. He's being fed by the best chefs in the world. He's being looked after by the best physios in the world. Listen, I know you sound like his dad, and you're being protective about it. I know what you're saying. But he's a young man. He's not 28, 29, and he's a young man. And listen, when we were 19, if you'd have watched Dawse when he was 19, I could never have kept up with him because I'm 10 years older than him. So he couldn't do it now. He'll admit that. But,
you want to bet?
Oh, you've been training, have you?
I ain't stopped.
Oh, really? Good for you. All right. I'll move it over to Andy then. If you could see him now. No. So I if you could see him back then. Exactly the same.
That's true.
So I think the Saka thing is a bit of a bone of contention. Some people are going to be in the Saka camp and other people aren't. It's clear that Mario, you're believing in him, and at the moment, Andy, you're not. Dawse, I'll come over to you. I mean, what are your thoughts about moving forward with what does he do now? How does he set the team up? I'm not going to mention the game coming up, but I will do in a second.
For me, Arteta's definitely the man to take us forward. I think his only downfall is trusting in these players who got Emery to sack. Let's be honest. The downfall for him. He's put all his trust in the older players, like they're going to try and drag him through, and he should have just come in and got rid of fucking everyone. Keep a couple of people and just build. The thing is, you've got to build your way up from the bottom. Let's be honest. The whole thing needs to start again. You can't rely on these fucking players. Let's be honest.
No, I understand that.
You've got a good base. All right, we've got Gabriel in now. Great buy. I think he's going to be brilliant. Yeah. Tierney, another one. Martinelli, when he comes back, I think he's another great player. Couple of youths. I'll definitely rate Saka. Partey's come in now. But then you look at the likes of, I've said it before, Mustafi. Too many Europa League standard players we've got. That's our downfall at the end of the day.
So going forward, go on, Mario.
Going forward, go on.
So I was looking at a factor, and I was considering many different things. I was looking at. Today I watched Tottenham versus Chelsea, and on Chelsea's bench they had Pulisic.
Did you manage to stay awake?
Yeah, it was a very boring game, but I was looking at the quality that was on the pitch, and also the quality that was on the bench for them as well. So Tottenham had Bale on their bench. They had Lo Celso on their bench. These are the quality players that they have on their bench. And these are top quality players, close to world class, not at the world class level, but close to world class. Chelsea has Pulisic, Chelsea has Kai Havertz as well on the bench. Now, when you look into the factor and you compare those teams to our team, we cannot say that our team is at the quality that we are. We're playing two midfielders, today, Granit Xhaka and Dani Ceballos, those are the two same midfielders that finished our league last season and still in 8th spot for us, getting us kicked out of the European League. And these are the same two players that we're seeing play today. No, we could have never expected anything better. When Wolverhampton had played in their midfield, such as Marcel, João Montino, and they're bringing on Ruben Neves. That's the player that I would definitely take at Arsenal inside our midfield pitch. He would be a good player to play alongside Thomas Partey. But no, we don't have those type of quality players. So we have to factor in those things. And we can say these bad performances can be thrown on the back of the manager, but yet still, we're not looking at the quality of our players. And I do believe that by the time goes by, I'm realizing that we have a massive quality issue. And that is something that we as fans have to evaluate and reevaluate how we think.
Okay. So quality issue. Okay. So that's a good point, right? So let's quickly just talk about that. So if we're going to bring players in, we obviously need to offload players, because the way things are at the Arsenal at the moment is that, the money's a bit tight and all the rest of it, even though they say the money's really tight and then suddenly spend all this money on a player, or it confuses me the way that suddenly
me too,
Josh Kroenke has brokered a deal or stands but bumped up 45 million quid or whatever. Now it's obvious that that Ozil is going to be going at the end of the season. You can probably think that someone like Lacazette is probably not going to stay at the club. I think there's unless he turns him around and turns him into another Raheem Sterling. I think Pepe's days are numbered personally at the club, because I don't think he's the type of player that Arteta wants. I think he's too lightweight for the Premier League. That's my opinion. He's too lightweight for the Premier League, and unless he changes what he's doing, or unless Arteta starts to get the best out of him, I know he's scoring a few goals, Mario, and we did have this. We were talking about this earlier on, but I think his overall play and his overall the way he plays is not good. It doesn't. He's a bit lightweight, and he seems to have a lot going on in his head a lot of the time. And you're going to come back at me in a minute with that one. If there was 4 players that you wanted to shift out of this team, let's not talk about players coming in at the moment, because that's coming up in January. But if there was 4 players you wanted to shift out of this team, just give me your 4 players each of you. Dawse, start with you, mate.
I'll give you 10.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about January. I know what you mean. I know you'd want, but we can't do that.
No, go on. I'll give you 4 straight away. Luis, Willian, Xhaka. Who else is there? Jesus Christ. Mustafi.
You was going to give me 10.
Kolasinac.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
So let's be realistic. He's not going to shift Luis because Luis is there, right? He's not going anywhere in January, right?
Xhaka, this is last season though.
Well, yeah, possibly, but I don't think he's going to shift him personally. I think he's going to keep him on because he's apparently a very good influence for the younger players. So we'll see where that one goes. But you have given me 4 or 5 there, Andy.
Similar to Dawes, to be fair. Bellerin, Xhaka, Luis, Mustafi, Ceballos back to Real Madrid. Part of crap.
Did you notice how exploited and exposed Bellerin was tonight? Wolves knew exactly what to do tonight when they were playing against him. He seemed like the weak link.
But the thing is, he had Willian in front of him who don't chase back.
Yeah.
That's what his game chasing back. And the thing is, with Willian, he hugs the touchline. So once Bellerin gets the ball, he can't even overlap him because he's hugging the touchline.
Yeah.
It's another thing that is sort of is killing us.
So, Joe, another player. Just to add one quick one. Pepe, right? You mentioned Pepe. If we sell him in January, just say he's had enough and Arsenal have had enough and want to get rid of him. How much do you reckon we get for him? 40 million?
About £2.
35 million?
35.
I mean, 35 at tops, right? Some team will take the punt on him.
Yeah.
And we've lost like 40 million.
Yeah, I think they realised they've realised they did a very, very poor bit of business, and we know that Lille have been dining out, like I said before, on that money ever since. He had one really, really good season and suddenly was worth £72 million when we could have gone and bought Wilfried Zaha for about 65 million, who's got Premier League experience and frightens defences like you wouldn't believe. And
Joe, you think about the 3 teams that we've lost in the Midlands, right, recently at home, right? Leicester, Villa and Wolves. Probably half their team will come probably less than 30 million a player, right? If you look at what they've purchased. And any of those players would make Arsenal a better team today.
Yeah, indeed.
So what's our scouts doing?
I don't know. It's questionable,
rid of them,
isn't
didn't
it?
Got rid of him. That's true. Yeah.
We're getting rid of them as well as the players in January. Yeah, Mario, very very quickly, your 4 before we move on to our predictions.
Granit Xhaka, Mustafi, Bellerin, Willian.
Willian, you'd get rid of Willian this soon?
I didn't want him.
No, that's fair enough. I don't think anybody did, but I mean, when he was coming over.
Let me choose someone else. I'm
Kolasinac, yeah, that makes sense. I think I think you mentioned him, didn't you, Dawse? But Xhaka, Kolasinac, Mustafi, and one other. I'm not quite sure. That would be my 4. I think it's one of maybe 3 or 4. But I think Bellerin. I think maybe they need to get someone in to replace him. I know they got Cedric there, but I don't know if he's quite good enough.
Maitland can do the job.
But then having said
Maitland really can.
Say again.
Maitland-Niles.
Yeah, well, I was just about to say Maitland-Niles is probably a good replacement, and
it's better than him.
Well, it's worrying that he's not getting he doesn't seem to be getting a look in at the moment. It's really weird. But we've got to move on because time's catching us up. Now, I want you to very very quickly give me your thoughts on how you think we're going to perform. Can't believe I'm saying this. How you think we are off the back of that result now? How you think he's either going to change it or what? And what you think the scoreline will be when we play Spurs next week? I'm going to give you 30 seconds each to do this one. Bear that in mind, Mario, because I know you've got a lot more to say. But just let me know what you think. How you think the game's going to go, and give me a score prediction.
Start with me.
Yeah.
I think we're going to lose that game, maybe 3-1.
Okay.
Because, Arsenal don't win against Jose Mourinho. We don't win against Jose. And I know that it's a derby, but we don't win against Jose. So, 3-1 in favor of Tottenham.
Okay.
That's fair enough. On the top of the league.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Andy?
I think we're going to, optimistically, I reckon it'd be 3-0 to Tottenham. Which I've never said. You know what? I've never said we'd lose that much in my lifetime watching Arsenal against Tottenham. But I reckon at least 3-0. I can't see a scoring, Joe. And I think the way Mourinho's going to set himself up, as he's been doing the last 5 or 6 games, how are we going to break him down? We've got no one up front to break him down. Yeah.
No, that's a good point. Dawse?
Arsenal 2-0. I think we get beat. We'll definitely get beat. I can't see us winning. I can't even see us drawing, I'll be honest with you. Don't even know what lineup he's going to put in because he keeps changing it, chopping and changing all the time. There's no consistency in the lineup either because I don't even know if he knows his best team because he's trying to implement a style of football where he just ain't got the players for it. So I don't know. We get beat anyway.
But you're not gonna put your neck out and hold your neck out and tell me the scoreline you think.
I say 3-1, 3-0.
I was going to say you even fancy just to have the score like Mario did just then. It was fantastic. We're going to get a goal. It's unbelievable.
Own goal probably.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I'm going to actually.
Gabriel header.
I'm going to actually really stick my neck out here and say that I think when it comes to North London derbies, as we know, boys, things change and Spurs could be in a terrible position and come and draw, or we could end up losing against them away. I know Jose will set his team up to frustrate us, just like he used to do with Chelsea. But you know what? I don't think there's going to be a winner in the game. I think we're going to draw 1-1 with them, and I think we're going to take a point away. I think it was one of those ones where everybody's now expecting us to go there and get beat, and I think Spurs will maybe have that feeling as well that the way we're playing. But don't forget, this is North London derby we're talking about, and teams pull the stops out, and I think Arteta will set this team up not to lose. I don't think he's necessarily going to set them up to win, but he'll set them up not to lose, and I fancy a 1-1. You can all shout me down next week if we do get absolutely trounced and one of you is right. But if I'm right, then you can pat me on the back virtually on Zoom next week.
I hope you're right, Joe. Right. I have to say,
let's hope I am right, but I'm going to stick my neck out and say, and I'm not even going with my heart, I'm going with my head, because I know we have that problem sometimes as Arsenal supporters. Okay, thanks very much, guys. We've got to leave it there. Thank you very much, and we'll see you probably after the next game. Thanks for joining me again, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button ladies and gentlemen out there, hit the like button and also hit that notification bell. We'll see you on the next one.